Hello, Instagram world! I am live for a very special session, the Q&A for Sex, Love, Power Masterclass. So I welcome you here, people. It's a joy to reconnect. If you were at the Sex, Love, Power Masterclass, please let me know. If you haven't been, you're just dropping by, you're also welcome. And I love it when you say hi. And if it's the very first time you are live with me, I also would love to know that. And if you're watching the replay, please also let me know in the comments that you have watched the replay. I'd love to know. So, how are you feeling, beautiful people? So I have this unfortunate happening that someone is drilling. I hope that's not going to interfere our time. Okay. Daria for the first time, welcome. Alex finished masterclass yesterday. Hello. Hi, Russell. Seda Vardi was just watching parts of the replay now. Someone's first time. Okay. Wonderful. So how are we gonna roll is that you are welcome to send in your questions, anything related to what we've covered in Sex, Love, Power Masterclass. So on day one, we talked about power and how power is something that we are responsible to cultivate within us, different types of power that there are, and ultimately how it's a choice to be in power. So, and I gave you this statement that I hope you've been using, this belief system that I operate under, the belief that whatever is happening for me. And I believe that that's a really empowered way to live life, where we really ask always, how is this, even if I don't like it, even if it's uncomfortable, how is this happening for me? So I hope you've been adopting this belief and seeing your life change. I actually already received some feedback from you saying that actually that already impacted you greatly. Okay, Angelica, very happy that you feel nourished by the masterclass. So on day one, it was all about power. On day two, it was all about relationships, and how we can, what is required from us to be a match, to be an energetic match and be in the same energetic frequency as those empowered new world relationships that we want to cultivate. So that was on day two. And on day three, we dove into the juiciest topic of them all, is sexuality. And I gave you an approach to sexuality which may be very different to what you're used to, which is definitely not something we encounter in the mainstream world. So, with all this in mind, I am happy to dive in with you. Oh, one more thing, that I also said that some of you entered into this little invitation with me where I invited you to do a couple of things, and I was going to choose a person that I will have a one-on-one session with for free. So I will announce this person after this live. I will announce it in my stories. So during the live, I feel to focus on the questions, and then afterwards I will go, I will speak in my stories about that. Okay, so let's focus on that. So how I love to roll is that you can write down your question. I also received some questions from you, and I will be addressing them as I see. I also have Fernanda here with me, and she will also support me to make sure I didn't miss any important questions. And then if you want to look deeper into your situation, to look deeper together, you can also request to be live with me. But first write down your question, and then you can request to join the live, and we can have a conversation about what you're facing. Okay, so that's also really fun. Okay, beautiful ones. So let's see, where do we begin? I think I'll begin with a question that I received. So there was a question about willpower. I like that one. So Binia asked this question: How techniques and skills to strengthen the muscle of willpower? Can you speak about the word embodiment? It is so often used. I wrote it today also for the first time, but I have a feeling I have only an intellectual knowing about it. Okay, so there are two questions actually. First question is about the willpower, second question about embodiment. So the willpower, how to strengthen the willpower. You know, there are techniques actually in yoga, like in Hatha yoga, there are actual techniques where you work on the third chakra, which is your navel chakra, and you strengthen this chakra. And there are various things that you can do for that. The willpower is very much linked to the fire element, as is this chakra. The third chakra, Manipura chakra, is related to fire element. So it's like our inner fire that makes us have this determination, this will for life, this will to go and achieve something, this self-confidence, this inner trust. Yeah, so there are various techniques. I facilitate those things in my trainings. Activation of the inner fire is a really important step for every single person. You know, you cannot be just kind of floating in the waters of constantly, I don't know what's coming next, I don't know what decision to take, like kind of being a lot in doubts. Yeah, it's like more like a watery realm, and this is where many people find themselves, where there's no clear direction, no clear determination in life, no clear focus. And then activation of the fire is a really, really important step for us collectively. So there are techniques, there are practices. There is also a thing that I love so much, which cultivates willpower tremendously, and it is commitment. And you know, sometimes it does not even matter all that much what exactly you commit to. I mean, of course, it shouldn't be anything self-destructive. Yeah, I shouldn't commit to eat one donut every single day for the rest of your life. Like, no, not that kind of commitment, but commitment that is beneficial, that you really feel like, okay, this is a good step for me for the next 30 days, for the next 60 days, for the next half a year. I am committing to doing this single thing that will support me. And then no matter how you feel, if you're moody, if you're grumpy, it doesn't matter, you show up for that. So a relationship is such a commitment. Yeah, where in a relationship you commit to be together, and in the modern world sometimes we see people kind of floating from one relationship to the next. A marriage is a commitment. It's also something that strengthens our will, actually, you know, just that, and going like, no matter what, no matter how challenging it is, I am showing up for that. Yeah, work can be such commitment. This work that you really love, that you really feel like you're giving yourself. And so many people start businesses and then you never hear about them. Yeah, they come up with this idea, I'm gonna do this and that, and they start, and then challenges come up and then they stop. So another really important piece about willpower is that there has to be something bigger than you that moves you. That's the easiest way to cultivate willpower, actually. And there has to be a reason behind what you're doing, behind what you are about, that is moving you. And when that is in place, willpower becomes so much easier, because it's like, you know, else is like, if you don't really have a very strong, clear sense of purpose, then every day may be like, oh my God, what's the reason for me to get out of bed? Yeah, sometimes it's that way. Sometimes people go into such low states of depression, and I've been there. Yeah, where it's like this complete nothing makes any sense. And what will take you out of there is to remember the why. Why are you here? What is your life about? In relationships, yeah, when there is dullness and boredom in relationships, then remember the why. Why are you in this relationship? But first and foremost, it's about you. Yeah, it's a personal thing. Why am I alive? What is this life really about? And for me, when I found myself in such a low state of really being like completely depressed, and it happened after I really overstretched myself and made a really huge leap in my life. After that, I got really hit by different circumstances, but really didn't matter. Just everything was pointing to this place of tremendous emptiness inside of me, and then I ended up in a really, really dark place of depression where I couldn't find how to get myself out. And what helped me when I heard those words in my head, that I am here for love. And because nothing else made any sense. When everything falls away, what remains is love. And for me, it's that. For you, there might be a different word. For me, it's love. For me, it's God. For me, it's beauty, ultimate beauty, which is the beauty of the divine. And all of my life is dedicated to that. And that's what makes me find willpower more than anything else. So that's willpower. That's a good start. Then you also ask, and then, if you have questions as I'm speaking about certain topics, you can send a message here, and then it's nice to keep the same topic. Like, it's like we can hold a wave together, and then it's like you see, okay, we're talking about this, and then we can deepen. So if you have deepening questions about this, please bring it, and then I'll address the second part from Binya. She asked about embodiment. Yeah, what is it really about? So it's true that it's used in many, many ways right now. So how I see embodiment, I mean, there will be different interpretations. Yeah, sometimes it's just, well, I will speak how I see it. Yeah. So for me, embodiment means taking intellectual concepts, taking ideas and actually living them. And when you are living those things and you really are walking the talk, so so many people are speaking, love and light. Love is what will say, even just what I just said, yeah? Love is what it's all about. Yeah? But then if in their life they don't really align with what love really means to them, yeah, and for different people it will mean different things. Yeah, so that's why you cannot even judge other people and say, they are speaking about love, but they are not really walking the talk of love. But do you actually know what it means for them? Because your integrity is between you and the divine. It's between you and you. It's not so much about other people. Yeah, but still, for yourself, you will know when you are lying to yourself, when you're dishonest with yourself. And that's what embodiment is about. Yeah, embodiment is really to bring everything you say into your body. I also see it kind of a bit bigger, where we choose to embody our soul, so it's a synonym of incarnation in this sense. Incarnation, normally we understand that incarnation is like, okay, we are born, we kind of come out of our mother, it's like the soul. The mother is this incredible machine. Actually, just just a side note here, that a woman can take something that does not exist through the intimacy with her beloved, through sexuality, and then together they land a soul into this physical body. I mean, this is a miracle. You are questioning if your life is magical. Your life is magical from the very start, just from how it starts, how it is created. So, then we say, okay, then when the mother cooks you and then she births you, then we think, okay, now the incarnation took place. But actually, it has not, because there will still be aspects of our souls, if we see ourselves as embodiment of spirit, having a human experience, then actually the total embodiment, the landing of all the qualities of the soul takes a lifetime. Yeah, so embodiment is that process of lending all the aspects of who we are into this human incarnation, and then moving on the path of embodying the human potential, on the path of really utilizing the human potential, is all about embodiment. Then there is also another interpretation of embodiment where, having all that in mind, then activating the body quite specifically through breath work, through work with the body, through work with movement, where you really train your body to become a vessel that can actually contain the soul. Because typically we are way too fragile to hold the intensity of our souls in the body. And that's why we just escape into our minds and we just move around the world as talking heads, but not really alive in the body. So the body is kind of just not dead. Yeah, it's kind of just existing there. Okay, you're feeding it, okay, you're exercising it, but there is no real relationship, no really real sense of being in the body. The body is more seen just as an object that needs to be, this needs to be bigger, this needs to be smaller, this needs to be like that, like this. More like we approach it from outside. But in embodiment work, we approach the body from inside, where it's like you start to feel your body from inside, and then you start to listen to the body, and you start to hear the body, and the body has things to say. Okay? So, let's see. Is there anything on that from you? Okay, so I see lots of questions about relationships. Okay, Diggy Tiggy, you say, how important is shadow work in all of this, and what does that look like? How do you go about it? I'm a little clueless on how to do it in a way that feels safe and held. Okay, so shadow work basically means integrating unconscious parts of ourselves and making them conscious. So shadow is basically the part of us that we are not aware of. So it exists, but we don't see it. Yeah. But whereas other people may see it, but it may just happen in the part of our psyche that we just are not aware of. And so shadow work means that you make those unconscious parts conscious. It's like you bring them to light. It's like you switch on light in the places where it's dark, and then you start to see parts of your personality. And for a lot of people, when I introduce in my trainings shadow work, sometimes I see people are like kind of moving closer to the exit or just saying like, no, I don't have shadow. I don't want to go there. I don't want to touch it, because if I touch it, then I'll open this Pandora's box and I don't know what's going to happen. So there may be a lot of fear to encounter parts. Or some people say, no, I just don't have it. I am such a conscious human being. I just don't have shadow. But in fact, if you're a conscious human being, then you will be very well aware of your shadows. And it's a really important piece of self-responsibility, where you really own who you are, and your dark and your light. And actually, through really coming face to face with our darkness, we realize that the darkness is not that horrible, actually. Yeah, and when we see it, when we understand where it's coming from, for example, some of the very famous shadows is control, addiction to control, where the person is just organizing their life so that you know that nothing will surprise you, and there won't be surprising discomfort. And then you arrange your life in a way that everything is nothing will surprise you, nothing will shake you. Yeah, so we really want to create that kind of comfortable life, but and that takes a lot of energy also. That shadow takes a lot of energy. When you do it unconsciously, that takes a lot of energy. Another popular shadow, and then as adults we should know that like we have to learn to face discomfort. Day one of the masterclass was a lot about that. And then control, we try to avoid the discomfort. Another very common shadow is manipulation, for women particularly, where we pretend to be a certain way, where we pretend to be fragile, when we pretend to be weak, when we pretend to be something in order to get something else. Or when we do something, when we make a gesture for someone, a seemingly very nice gesture, but then we expect the person to do something else in return. Yeah, that's also a shadow of manipulation. So this, for example, then there are thousands and thousands of different shadows, but it's our job to discover our own and Of course, it may be, you said that how to do it in a way that I feel safe and held. Of course, it's best to do it in an environment where it is supported and you feel supported by people who understand the depth of this work and who won't shame you for your shadows, but actually invite you to hold them responsibly and hold you to your power. That's the best. Yeah, when you work with mentors, when you work with coaches, when you work with teachers, people who have walked this path and they are in front of you, maybe a step or two or five, yeah, they've been to the places that you may be discovering, then there is a capacity to hold you and invite you into your power. So that's a safe way to do that. Okay, so can you talk more about what to do to help the body strengthen, upgrade so it can hold more of our soul frequency? So there are various ways. I love to work through Tantra yoga, particularly. Yeah, that's what I bring into my trainings, Tantra yoga, which is the way to work with the body, not only on the level of the physical body, where you just move your body, but also on the level of the energy, where you really become aware of various energy centers. They sit along the spine, the 7 chakras, so-called, and then you work on the qualities, not only on the physical level, but also on the energetical level, and also on the emotional level, and also on the spiritual level of these chakras. So that's a very beautiful way. I find it very, really powerful. And another thing that is a shortcut, and it's very powerful, and I am privileged to hold this work. It's work on cultivating our orgasmicness and cultivating our eroticism. And so that's the most powerful. It's a fast one, so it's actually the most challenging one. It's much, there are much slower ways, like working with just different energy work, yeah, Hatha yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong, martial arts, like things like that. This is really beautiful. But then through sacred sexuality work, eroticism and orgasmicness, this is the fast track. It brings up more things, more shadows, faster. But it's been my path, yeah, because I started my spiritual path when I was 23, and that's very young. And I went straight on this very fast path to awakening, and it's been very challenging, but so rewarding and so, just I wouldn't want it any other way, because the amount of beauty, the amount of magic that brought to my life is incomparable. So, I also remember a question from Vesal. How do you deal with ego, the negative approach to seeing life that makes me feel disconnected from others, better or worse, envy, jealousy, especially when we are a good person who adore sublime feeling? Well, the thing is that everybody has an ego. Yeah, sometimes in kind of certain circles we tend to demonize the ego, and then we say ego is the bad guy. Ego is like the root of all problems. And I have to say that this is quite limited view, because ego is basically the mind. We can give another name to ego, is the mind, yeah, or personal identity. Yeah, and the personal identity is not the evil. Yeah, it's like typically it's like the people who want to remove themselves from life, and they want to kind of live this kind of disembodied spirituality, or a spirituality that just is ascetic and doesn't include being active in the world, which is none of you, by the way, because you are here with me on Instagram. At least 115 people who are here right now. It's like we are not. people who are made to be living in caves. Yeah, maybe for some phases in our lives. Yeah, I've had phases in my life where I was in this ascetic way, and I still have that regularly in my life, actually, when I remove myself from life and just go into meditation for various lengths of time. But right now, most of you being here, all of us being here on Instagram in this live, it means that we want to be in the world. And when we want to be in the world, it means that we need to create a relationship with our identity, with our personality, with our ego, with our mind, that is actually supporting that where we are going. Yeah, I spoke in the beginning of this live about how if you have a purpose that is bigger than you, then everything in life becomes easier, and the willpower becomes easier. And when you have a reason why actually you're doing what you're doing, why you need your willpower. Yeah, so in the same way, when we are aware of the big picture, the big vision of our life, then our ego can become a servant to that. Where it's problematic is where everything in life is serving the ego. And it's like there is like a small part of me, Sofia, kind of little Sofia, and then there are different aspects of her, the little girl, the different parts of my personality which I can separate and different, name them differently and so on. It's like sometimes it's like a big house of different people living inside of us. Yeah, we can separate all those different identities, different archetypes that are playing out inside of us. And and then you can see how all of them, they actually can be in service to something bigger. Not you are all equipped and trying to serve them. I have a need for that. I have a need for this. I have a need for that. And it's good to nurture all those needs, but not let them run our lives. Yeah? Not make them be the only important thing in our lives. And that's where the willpower comes in, where it's like you're like, okay, I see these are my needs, I will take care of my needs, but then where am I actually going? Yeah? What am I actually serving here? And so then when you're saying, seeing life that makes me feel disconnected from others, so I put myself separate, I don't feel like I belong, right? The sense of not belonging, or I compare, am I better than others, am I worse than others, or I feel envy, I see someone who has something that I want to have and then I feel envious, or I see something that I'd love to have but it seems so far away from me, I start to feel jealous. So all of these, they're just emotions. Yeah, they're just emotions, they're just thoughts that are then translated into emotions, and there is a way to work with them. Yeah, first, there's a way to acknowledge them, so just to notice, like, wow, okay, I see this and I feel envious, and it really eats me from the inside. And then take some time with yourself. Take some time with yourself to look at where this is coming from. What is the emotion underneath? Yeah, it's like, let's make an example. Like, okay, I see someone having something, I want to have a relationship. Let's say someone is having a beautiful relationship and I really want to have a beautiful relationship, but it's just not coming in my life. And then I see them and I'm like, like really aching on the inside, and I want to be happy for them, but I'm not, because I feel so miserable. And I see them and I'm like, ah. And then if I don't catch myself soon enough, then I see that I start to think that they are really bad people and they must have been doing something wrong, and that's why now they are so happy, and somehow find something wrong about them, or some flaws, or some kind of sense that they are lying or something. Yeah, but wait, slow down. It's just the mind creating a story, taking you away from the discomfort. Slow down, and then you will see that, hang on. Why am I all invested into this person where it's about me? Every trigger is an arrow that's pointing back at me. So let me look. Okay, I take a breath. Remember this, take a breath. Now, please take a breath together with me. Because it already may be activating in my words, what I'm saying. So we take a breath, and then like, okay, What's going on here? I feel like I look at this couple and I feel so envious for what they are having. Okay, I take a breath. Then I hold my heart and I tell myself, it's okay to feel envious. I still love and accept myself. Even though I feel envious, I still love and accept myself. Okay, what is underneath this? Underneath, I feel really sad. I really want to have a relationship and it's not coming in my life and I feel so sad. Okay, another breath. Okay, what's underneath? Underneath, yeah, I feel like maybe it's not for me a relationship. Maybe maybe already missed a beautiful relationship in my life. Maybe it's not going to happen to me. Maybe it's for other people. And I feel so sad because of this. I feel actually really unworthy of a beautiful relationship. I feel like I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. And it is for other people who have all those qualities. Okay, take another breath. And then, okay, even though I feel so sad and I feel unworthy and I feel envious, I still profoundly love and accept myself. So, like this, yeah, and you hold yourself in that. And yeah, there's like ways to deepen through that. And it's beautiful to have someone who holds you in that, like a mentor or a coach or teacher or a friend who can be with you in that and you can explore that. Or your journal, yeah, just start journaling, write down what is going on through your mind, through your heart. And then like this you work with the ego, because we all are good people. You know, Vesali, you are a beautiful person. Everyone is a good person in their heart. We all are people of purity in our essence. But then if we start to believe in all those parts of us and all those different parts of our identity, this is when we disconnect from the purity of our essential self. Okay. Okay, so there's lots of questions on open relationships. Really? Like, you really want to know about open relationships? This is the most important thing right now for us. We can talk about it. But let me see more now. There's more questions. How do you discover your shadow? Well, look at repetitive patterns in your life. Look at what in your life keeps repeating. Yeah, where you feel maybe like a certain situation keeps coming back. Maybe you keep attracting a certain type of relationships. Yeah, maybe unavailable men. You keep attracting unavailable partners, or you keep attracting partners who don't see you, don't understand you. Yeah, or you keep like having this thing in friendships that you keep feeling like your friend doesn't like you, doesn't want to hang out with you, or you keep feeling like you don't belong in communities and environments and you feel like super different. Yeah, so look at those repetitive things where you feel not happy in your life, where like situations that create a discomfort in your system. So look at those situations and see where they are pointing, and ask yourself, what am I may not be seeing? Because who is the common denominator in all those different situations? It's you. Yeah? The common denominator is actually is you. So look at what are you doing? Yeah, what are you creating there? Like, okay, sense of not belonging. Like, okay, I am showing up in all sorts of different environments, and I just feel I don't belong. I feel just different. I feel like everyone is somehow different. Then, what is actually the feeling inside? Oh, the feeling actually I feel really unworthy. So that may be the shadow. Yeah, there's a shadow of actually you feel unworthy, and then immediately you start to project, you start to say, no, actually those people are not good people. Yeah. So turn it back towards yourself and notice, actually I feel unworthy. And my shadow is that I'm covering my unworthiness by being overly critical, for example. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Which one of your courses is aimed on working with sacred sexuality and orgasmicity? Well, liberation to orgasm. Even the title is self-explanatory, although we go way beyond the common understanding of orgasm there. But that's a very beautiful course. If you can travel, I highly recommend. It's a very powerful container. Like being live in person with me and with my team and with all the other people who come is very powerful. If you cannot travel, then, or in the meantime, you can do as a woman, activated woman, for sure, 100%. Start with that. Pleasure is prayer, for sure. It really expands your orgasmicness. In Limitless Love also, there are practices on cultivating orgasmicness. So Sacred Sexuality Bundle actually is what I would recommend. Or the Ultimate Bundle with Liberation to Orgasm, even better. Okay, the questions about business and so on, I would recommend to hold them because we will have another masterclass actually in January all around leadership. So we can address those things there. But since I came across this, let me just see how I can address how to define my business. No, I think we better, it's not really in the context of what we're talking right now. I feel, with the work that we're talking about now, there's a great opportunity to really dive into your inner power. And when you are rooted in your own inner power, all the right choices, all the right decisions, like you learn to hear yourself, you learn to hear the voice of your soul, and that's how you know all the best decisions. That's how you know what is your yes, what is your no. Most people walk through life not knowing that, trying to find answers from other people, trying to find answers in your mind, but actually you have answers in your body. So that's what this work is about. Okay, so there are a lot of questions. Okay, let's go. How can I feel worthy to have what I desire and create that for myself? I understand that mentally, but how to embody it emotionally? Well, how here is not really the right question. How to feel worthy? Yeah, you turn inwards, and you go into you. Less outside of you, less about what other people are about, more into you. And that's where you will find the worthiness. This is because when you turn in, especially in the way that I'm teaching, and when you turn in towards yourself, towards your body, when you start to embody yourself, you incarnate all of you, all the things that stay at the level of ideas, you incarnate it into the body, because here you say, I understand that mentally it's not enough. Yeah, it's not doesn't matter that much what we understand mentally, but what matters is what we experience, what we feel. So that's the work, where you train yourself to be in your body, alive as your body. When you understand your body, when you open your body to hold more power, open your body to hold more of your soul, this is when you find the worth, because you find love for yourself there. You find love, and that's the essence of self-worth, where you find love, and not only love for yourself, like I love myself kind of thing, which is beautiful, but that's not all there is to love. Love is ultimately the divine. When you find God in yourself, that's when worth really takes off. Self-worth takes off. When you really understand yourself at the core of the core, not only I'm a woman, I'm a man, like this, like that, that's how I look, that's what I like, that's what I feel, that's what I need. This is just one level, it's surface. But when you remember yourself on a deep, deep, profound level, this is where self-worth is inevitable. Oh, that's sweet of you asking how am I feeling. I'm feeling really great. I've recovered I had COVID, as some of you know, so thank you so much for all the love you've sent. I believe that through this love and through the love I feel inside of me, I recovered super fast, like in a few days. It was very challenging, but actually I learned so much through that, and I purified so much, so I'm actually grateful for what happened. Oh, thank you for all the love. Okay, where do we go from here? Okay, let's see, where do we go from here? Okay, let's go into relationships. How to let go mentally and emotionally of a relationship. I'm surrendering and trusting that it will happen if it has to. I let go physically already, but feelings and thoughts keep coming up. Okay, so there is quite a process to let go of a previous relationship, and sometimes we have ties with partners way beyond what we understand, way beyond what we see. I've had that in my life where I really got really deeply entangled in a relationship which was not right for me, and I discovered that I had actually really ancient contracts with that man. And then I did quite extended work on clearing out those contracts, of really bringing my energy system to its original integrity, and that took quite some dedication. So I really encourage to look into it like deeply, because especially as a woman, because I think you are a woman, aren't you? I think there's a picture in the bikini, Maria. Yeah. So I really encourage to go into that work of really finding what is him, what is borrowed from him, and what is you. In Come My Love online course, we do this work. Yeah, there is very specific technique that I developed, that where you learn to listen actually to your body, and your body tells you how to let go. And then there's one step to let go and to understand what is not yours, and then there's another step to integrate it, because there are also gifts that we receive from each other, because we are collective beings and we actually do need that exchange, and we receive it and then it becomes a part of us. But there is a not integral way to receive that, so it just becomes like, it's like you're not aware of what you're receiving, so it enters into your shadow. Or there is a coherent way to receive it and integrate it. So we do this work, and Come My Love, it's quite a process. Thank you guys. Okay, well, let's go into relationships. I'm so happy this resonates with you. Maria, Come My Love online course is something that I'm offering currently with like 50% off of its original price, so you can go check it out. I really recommend this course. It's a really powerful course for women. It's called Come My Love, and I have now this time-sensitive opportunities until tonight, until 12 a.m. tonight, Central European Time. You can get all my sexuality and relationships-related courses for just a fraction of the price, up to 66% off. I'm offering, which is amazing, insane, and the end of the year celebration. So take use of that. Oh, okay, so let's stay with relationships, I would say. I'm continually growing in self-love, self-understanding, and confidence. I want to enjoy my life with a husband aligned with me, but it feels it is not happening. I feel guilty to feel sad. Any thoughts? So I'm not quite... So you feel guilty because you feel sad that you're not attracting yet that husband, right? So, I mean, like, I'm so happy that I have answers actually for you, because I know how frustrating it may be. But I've worked with so many women, and especially like this year, I've launched this course, Come My Love, where it's specifically for women who want to either up-level their existing relationships or attract a relationship. And then I worked with so many women specifically on that this year, especially also in previous years, but this year specifically, there was a very strong focus on that. And I can tell you 100% certainty that it's you and your alignment that is responsible for who you attract in your life and whether you attract him or not. Because sometimes women have this sense of no, don't come to me energy. It's in you actually, and it is on some level you are choosing this. And it doesn't make any sense right now because your mind is like, no, I really, really want a relationship. I really, really want, but your energy is like, no. Like I've seen this so many times, like also in my in-person trainings where I see women saying like, I really want it, I really want it, I really want it, but the body says no. That's why, again, we come back to embodiment. Yeah, there's like in the mind, there's one thing, but the body says something else, and you're not even aware of it because you're disconnected from your body. So we do work on really inviting your body in such safety. So that's the key. That you as a woman, you come into such safety in yourself, in your own inner embrace with your own inner masculine, that you become really you. You stop hiding behind protection. You really embody the gift of your feminine heart. And then that shines, and then that magnetizes the man that you really are yearning for. It's getting hot here. Switch off my heater. So, do you see? So, don't feel guilty for feeling sad. Like, feel sadness and do your work. Yeah, because sadness is also beautiful, because sadness can also reveal something to you. But Come My Love online course is what I profoundly recommend, or at least Path of Magnetic Heart. So we can drop the link to that. Fernando, maybe you can drop the link for the time-sensitive offers where you can see those courses. This stuff really works. And the women in those courses, like, they attract relationships like that because they are doing the inner work, not because of some seduction tricks, or they go on dating apps. You don't even, you can go on dating apps. You don't have to go on dating apps. The man will be magnetized to you. You will be shocked because it's really your feminine body that is inviting the man or not. And you can do that consciously if you really want that. Okay. So how to handle seduction and the dating? How to handle seduction? I don't know, what exactly do you want to ask? How to handle seduction in the dating phase without actually physically intimate, without being physically intimate. What is the question here? Why is it difficult to handle seduction? How do we know if in a relationship the two people are just not going deep enough in the healing, or the relationship is just not just an entanglement? Okay, that's a good question. So how to know that we are not going deep enough into healing? Well, the thing with relationships is that relationships should feel like they are bringing you up the spiral of your evolution. Like those good, conscious, new world relationships, that's what they're meant to be doing for you. If over a long time, over months or years, you see that you are spiraling down and there's just no progress, even though you both are saying that you want to work on it, then it means that this relationship has probably has outlived its purpose and outlived itself. And you know for sure when you feel, when you really keep feeling and keep tuning in, not like, oh wow, now I don't feel good today, and now, because many people do that, they say, oh, today I don't feel good, we are not in a good connection right now, we are fighting, so then they question the whole relationship. No, don't make this mistake. This is immaturity. But look at your whole relationship over the scope of your entire time together and see what is actually going on, because sometimes there will be challenges in a relationship and they are beautiful and they are training you ultimately to look at your responsibility for what you don't like. And when you take that responsibility, then the other person, they are typically really are invited either to also take responsibility, or they just leave you, like they being removed from your life. I don't think there is ever a need for like a rushed decision to like sit and go like, okay, should I stay in this relationship or should I end it? Should I stay? Should I end it? Like, this is just the mind. Yeah, when there is a sense that you need to end the relationship, it is so clear, it kind of falls out by itself. So don't worry too much that you need to make a decision. Of course, if you are indulging in some pattern that, there is like anxious avoidant tendency, or there is like constant push and pull and just really exhausting and maybe even abusive relationship, then for sure, like, you don't need to stay there. Yeah, but if it's a healthy relationship and just you start to question, like, is it the right person for me or not, then better wait and then you will see. Because in truth, relationships either work or they don't. You cannot really make them work, actually. Because if they work, it means that both partners are really invested in making them work, and both partners are really choosing each other fully, not just on the level of the mind, but fully. And then these relationships, they work and they go through different phases, and you don't need to dramatize those phases. It's okay. Yeah, there are different situations that you will encounter, but still look at the overall big picture of where you are together. Okay, so then see more. I desire deep intimacy with my partner and to feel more desired by him. It frustrates me when I don't feel like he craves me as much as I do, even though he loves me a lot. The thing is that you cannot change him. That's the thing. And what you can do is to look at yourself and notice what is this desire, like what is actually going on there. Is this a healthy, a real yearning inside of you, or is this a need from a wound that just does not heal? Yeah, so is it coming from like a graspy place where you're trying to grasp him and get him to make love to you, to show up for you the way you want, because you're not doing it for yourself? Yeah, so that's something to check. Are you doing that for yourself? Are you choosing yourself? Are you showing up for yourself? Because if you're not, then the man will be repelled by that energy, this grasping kind of energy. It will be repelling from him, and then he will be shutting off. Yeah, so look at that very honestly. Now, if that's the case, that actually you are in a really healthy relationship with yourself and you really feel like you are going deep enough by yourself, and it's just him, he's just not interested in intimacy, then it's more his work. Yeah, it's really more his work to take charge of his sexuality, to his desire, to his capacity to let him desire you without being scared that you will leave him. Because sometimes people are scared to desire their partner because they are like, wow, if I really open to you so much and then you leave me, then I will hurt so much. And then they choose not to desire even at all. And so there may be like things like that going on, or something else. Yeah, so you can write more, like what do you see he is experiencing, what is going on for him, And then we can talk about that, but still it is not yours to solve, actually. You can share with him how that makes you feel. Like, that's a really big piece that we work on with women in my courses, where I invite women to really learn to use your feminine heart. Like, our hearts are here to express, our hearts are here to share all of what it is to be a human. And it is sometimes grief and sadness and pain and anger and frustration and fear, all of that. Yeah, if we share it without the need to make the partner to fix it for us, then we are sharing the beauty of the feminine heart, the beauty of the feeling, the beauty of aliveness. It is our job, women. Really, it is our job. So when you bring that to him, then he has something to work with. But if you suffer silently, then he has nothing to work with. He doesn't understand. Yeah, but bring to him how you feel. Yeah, what do you desire? And share the pain of not getting what you desire. And don't blame him at the same time. Can you master that? It's big work. It's a big work. So if you need support with that, I have things that will support. So what if the partner believes only in actions and their results, but not in the open, intimate conversation that are essential in the relationship? I feel the big need to talk things through, but he doesn't. So the thing is that it depends on how you do that. Because oftentimes what I see from women is that they say, I opened my heart to him and I told him, but he said no. He laughed or he didn't want to do it. But I question this, because what I see happening is that typically women approach men from their headspace. So they approach men from the masculine energy, to their heads. So you're talking to his mind, from your mind. And that will only put him into masculinity, and then what he will do, he will just say, like, I don't know if I have time for that, I better go do my work, or I better hang out with my buddies, or, do something productive, or, just do something. Yeah, because he feels like it's like, it's another thing to discuss, to solve, to something. But if you talk to him from your heart and you let him feel you, and you only can do that if you are feeling yourself, if you are okay with your emotions and you don't need those emotions to be fixed by him. Yeah? If you really are at ease with your own emotional essence and you really come from the feminine towards him, that will awaken him, that will enliven him, and he lives for that, actually. Yeah, so it's really a lot about the how you are doing that, how you are bringing yourself forward. Is there a sense of blame? Is there a sense of shaming him? Is there a sense of criticizing him in any way? Is there a sense of needing something from him, needing him to be a certain way? So if there is any of that, then you're not gonna receive his heart, which is what you're craving for. Yeah. So yeah, that's also path of the magnetic heart, is where also I go deeper into that. Okay. Okay, so let's see what else. Let's stay with relationships. After I had some sexual traumas, would you recommend your trainings be enough, including live retreats, to work on healing, or should I also have additional talk therapy? Generally, I think I have some fears. I recommend first therapy and then come to my trainings. Or both. Yeah, you can do both. You can actually, I have a training in April in person, if you're talking about in-person training. Yeah, live retreats, you're saying. So I would recommend, like, you can join that, but in the meantime, start working with a therapist. It will really support you. It will help you go deeper during the training. So you have like a certain awareness of your inner landscape and understanding of your shadows, actually, and understanding of the things that you didn't want to see until now. And then we will work with it on an energy level and support the transformation. Although, like, doing an online course, like doing Activated Woman, it's a very beautiful way, like, to combine with therapy as you go. Totally recommend it. Yotosh. I have recently discovered that I am sabotaging my relationships before they even start. I feel like I don't want to give myself and my freedom. And yes, there is fear. Yeah. So, is there a question here? Is there a question here? So fear is okay, yeah. If you can feel the fear and feel it in your body, like and own this fear, it's okay. But it doesn't have to block you. Yeah? So there's a difference between feeling the fear and blocking what you actually are yearning for. And of course, there is this fear that I just talked about, to even desire, the fear to even desire love, to even desire a relationship. Sometimes we don't let ourselves desire because we are already scared of the rejection, because there is no greater pain than the pain of abandonment. And we are so scared to be abandoned, every single one of us, you know. And one of the things that unites every single person on this planet is a fear of abandonment. It is there. It is in our bones, deep, 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 and it runs so deep. I won't even go into detail about this right now, but it is really, really a fundamental deep fear. And that's why oftentimes we're blocking ourselves from things that we really want in our lives. And most people live lives that are completely unfulfilled because they're scared to go for what they want because of the fear of what may go wrong. Yeah, so that's why most people are not even starting relationships, not even starting the things that they are really dreaming of, because of the fear that might be taken away from them. So how to handle this, you're asking? Yeah, acknowledge that pain, acknowledge that fear of abandonment, and let yourself drop into the vulnerability of that. Name it even, yeah? Even when you are with a man that you feel like he can hear your heart, you can even name it and you can say, hey, I have this kind of pattern actually running. Or notice yourself when you're like sabotaging the relationship, just notice, just take a moment, pause, take a breath. Yeah? And then see, like, okay, am I moving from which part am I moving right now? Am I moving from my heart or am I moving from my fear? And if you say like, oh yeah, I am actually moving from my fear, then okay, what is the fear? And then you will see, okay, it's the fear of potential rejection. And then take a breath and then tell to yourself, even though I feel fear of being rejected, I deeply accept and love myself. And hold yourself in that. Hold the parts of you that are afraid. Hold them like you would hold a little child. And rest in that vulnerability. And know that you can show this vulnerability to the man. And that will connect you profoundly. And just sharing like, hey, I am actually scared of going deeper with you. You will see how much weight it takes off of your shoulders. And how closer that brings you with him, and how it invites him into opening his heart, because you may be judging him that he is not connected to his heart, or you don't feel him, or you have all those reasons to sabotage and to go away from him. But if you show your heart, that's how you invite a man into his heart. Welcome. I was in a relationship and I couldn't see my partner and her needs. I couldn't satisfy her physically, and I see myself now. How do I reclaim my love for this woman? I love her deeply. So that's beautiful that you have the awareness right now, and you see that you could not see her. So can you see why you could not see her? Can you see why you could not satisfy her? You say, I see. Yeah? So if you see, then it means that you've done some inner looking, you've done some inner work. So now your responsibility is to check, is it honest? Can you really now, do you know now how to hold this woman? Do you know now how to show up for her? And if it's an honest yes inside of you, then reach out to her and say, hey, I've done some really deep inner looking and I have a few things to discuss with you. Are you open for that? Yeah? And if the answer is no, you say no, I still need to do some work, then own that. That's your masculine power here, yeah, where you can be honest with yourself and hold yourself to your highest integrity, hold yourself to your honesty, and really know that when you are with a woman, she is giving something precious to you, she is giving you her heart. And you need to be really in profound integrity within yourself to hold that heart and be honest if you are actually available for that or not, or if you just will play with this heart and be with her, and then as soon as things get challenging you just disappear. Yeah, take responsibility for your power, because it is tremendous power that you're given when a person gives you their heart. So if you love her deeply, do the honest inner work, and then show up with her in front of her having done this work. Why is it so difficult to build chemistry, which we had a few years ago? Does long-distance relationship affect this? Well, actually, long-distance relationship can help in prolonging the chemistry, because the distance is actually what really activates our polarity, which actually really that need for, in a relationship we have two really big needs. One is a need for closeness and to be really in this intimate exchange and feeling that our hearts are being held, and also we have a need for a certain distance in order to actually feel the pull to each other, because if we're always like this together, we don't feel the pull. So actually the long distance in that maybe not such a bad thing. Yeah, and then the long distance, there is a pull. But if you see the relationship is kind of dropping itself, then maybe there's not enough intimacy. Yeah, maybe there's so much distance that you did not put an emphasis on cultivating the closeness and cultivating the intimacy and really listening to each other and really hearing each other. So I would say it is that. Then if it's the opposite, yeah, if you've been too close, then typically what will help quite a lot is where you really actively work on creating a little bit more distance between you without losing the bond. Where does the fear that your partner is not deep enough, not enough in touch with his emotions come from? The fear that he can't understand me. Well, maybe it comes from your experience. Maybe you don't feel understood by him. Is it? You tell me. Where does this fear come from? You should know that. So if you experience that, that's your experience, you feel not understood, you feel not heard, you feel not, then that's a real thing. Okay. Let's see, what else? Okay, there were some questions about polyamory, and then again another question now comes in. So, what I think about polyamory is this. Do we have more specific questions on polyamory? Because it's a really large subject. So polyamory can be defined in different ways. Yeah, one way to define polyamory is where you basically just have multiple partners and you don't have any certain commitment with anyone, and you just kind of have different lovers, and you consider so that you just don't want to commit to one person, and that's the thing, And then typically there's a lot of confusion in this space and a lot of pain and heartache because people are not capable of communicating that. They say like, okay, I just don't want to commit to anyone, but they don't even say that normally. Yeah, and then that creates a lot of chaos and confusion, and that's really sad. Can be very, very, very hurtful. Then there is another type of polyamory where you actually are very open about that and you say like, okay, I can be in a relationship with you, but then you need to know that I will have other partners also. I need to have that. And then you enter into agreements, if that really works for each of you and what are your rules and how to run with that. So what I find is that for short phases, I see that it can work. Yeah, for short phases, it can be quite beneficial for people to really explore and understand what they are attracted to. For some people, not for everyone. But for long periods in your life, maybe you've had like a year or half a year or a month or like some short time where you've been searching for what you like, for who you are, for what is important for you. So that's where I can see it fit. But for long phases, I haven't seen many happy people with that. I mean, of course, we can also say there are not that many happy relationships as such, no matter if they are polyamorous or they are monogamous. But still, in polyamorous relationship, I've seen more suffering and more kind of search and trying to find yourself through all those different partners than actual real being moved by love. Yeah, so mostly it's more like a sense of trying to find yourself through all those different people. And sooner or later we have to come to understanding that we won't find neither our freedom, because sometimes that's what people say, I need to be free. But we have to come to a point in life where we understand that we cannot find our freedom through external situation. We cannot. Like really, no. Freedom is an internal game. And you're either internally free or you're not. And it is your job to come to that freedom. It's not about your life situation. There are people who found themselves being completely free in prison, in like mental hospitals where they were sent there because they were not convenient for the for the authorities or something like that. And still people found freedom. Nelson Mandela wrote books in prison and was the guru, the teacher in that. And there are other examples of that. So freedom is an internal game. That's one thing. And then another thing is that you cannot find also yourself through other people. Yeah, like finding yourself is also an internal process. And then when we are constantly jumping from one relationship to another or needing these multiple relationships, then it's also typically it's all about like searching for yourself, needing somehow something external to mirror to yourself who you are. But that's also, and as I said, it's okay for some phases if that's done in honesty, in integrity, in agreement with people involved. But typically, for long term, if you really put your purpose as first, I find that in most cases, there are exceptions, but in most cases, if you really you have a strong purpose in your life, you have a strong devotion in your life, then having this constant turmoil of relationships, constant interactions, constant needs to create agreements, constant processing. That's what happens a lot in polyamorous relationship. I find that tends to take away people from their purpose and from their focus on life. So it's individual choice, and there are benefits everywhere. However, you can be, like Julia, my love, she's here, is saying you can be free in a relationship of more than 26 years. So freedom is an internal experience and nothing really can impact that. If you're free inside, and the inside, it doesn't matter what's your life situation. In fact, the true deep relationships, they should enforce your internal freedom. Even it's not about like doing whatever you want and not honoring agreements. This is not freedom. This is just immaturity. Okay, so do we have more questions on polyamory or something? Since we are here. Also for women, typically I see women entering into polyamory because that's what the man says that he is available for, and then I see, women say, oh yeah, we can be just, okay, open to other people, or yeah, we can just be kind of sex buddies. But for women, normally this is a profound betrayal of a woman's heart. And because normally those kind of decisions, they come just because there's a fear that I cannot have any other kind of relationship. So, okay, then I'll enter on those terms. But my sisters, this is not true. You can have any kind of relationship that you want and trust the deepest desire of your heart and don't settle for anything less than that. Because you can have it, really. You can have it. You can have it all. You can have the most amazing relationship that you are even scared to dream of. I promise, you can have it. It's just for you to commit to your heart. So commit to your heart, commit to honoring the deepest truth in your heart. And you don't have to compromise anything. You don't have to settle for anything that's less than the side of your heart. Do you believe in giving failed relationships a second chance? Do happy relationships really exist, and can they last forever? Happy relationships exist, this I can for sure tell you. I also would be curious to know, what do you call a failed relationship? So, because sometimes we are very quick to judge a relationship as failed. What do you consider a failed relationship? So tell me, you can just tell me here. And if relationships can last forever. Of course, they can last a lifetime, they can last 20 years, they can last 30 years, they can last 1 year. And the thing is that none of it is a failure. Sometimes relationships are meant to be short, and that's not a failure. Yeah, so that's an important thing to reframe for us. Just broken up after 6 years, was very unhappy for 2. Failed to achieve my life goals and made too many compromises. Okay, so if you were very unhappy for 2 years, then why do you want to come back to this relationship? If you really saw 2 years is a long time, yeah, and if really you saw that you were not uplifting each other, you were not spiraling up, you were spiraling down, then why do you want to come back to this relationship? Do you feel like there's no one else who comes to you, and that's why you need to come back to that relationship and revive it? I failed to achieve my life goals and made too many compromises. Yeah, so that didn't work for you. And then you don't even need to say failed. It was just a relationship of 6 years. For the last 2 years, it was challenging. You really gave it all. It didn't work. It was meant to end. And, I find that we would be so much happier as a society if we were to honor our experiences and don't accumulate that resentment. And because typically we have a resentment when we have an expectation or have an idea of how it should be. Like, for example, in a relationship, you're like, okay, a happy relationship means a relationship that lasts forever. If it's anything less than that, it means it's a failed relationship. Yeah. So I feel like that could be a belief that is there, that you're holding. So I invite you to reframe that belief, to challenge it and reframe it, and to go it's not serving me to feel that way, because if you feel that way, you will have so much resentment in your life. And when you have a lot of resentment in your life, then you know what you do? You punish people for the resentment that you feel. So just accept this as a fact, that some relationships, they have a lifetime of less than a year. It's a lifetime of this relationship, but maybe not your lifetime. So that's absolutely fine. And each relationship has a purpose. So you can look back at your relationship of those 6 years and see what was the purpose of that relationship. What did you learn? what went really well? What was challenging? How did you grow in these 6 years? So, and like this, you will close that chapter and go like, okay, this is finished. Yeah, that was the phase of my life. It is finished. That's it. And even if, sometimes some relationships, they revive themselves and then you come back together with this person, but it should be a new kind of relationship, because if there is so much turmoil for those 2 years and so much compromise and so on, it's best to close it. And then if you do choose to come back together, be it from a place of like a renewed relationship, like someone was writing earlier, like I feel like I've changed, I feel like I've grown, I understood all the mistakes, I want to give it another try. Yeah, then it's like you start from freshness. But no need to try to hold on because you feel like your parents judge you or society is judging you. I had that also in my marriage. Yeah, it looked perfect from the outside, and people were so upset with me, like literally upset with me that I chose in my life to end my relationship. Like it was like, people, are you serious? Like upset with me that I chose to end the relationship. Like I broke your dreams, maybe that you feel like all relationships should last a lifetime, but it's none of something that really touches me. Yeah, it's like I chose it because that was in alignment with my soul, and I am so grateful I did. That was the clear choice from my soul. There was no doubt that it can be any other way. It was clear. It has served its purpose. I am so profoundly grateful for that relationship. I still love my ex-husband so much. We're in such good friendship now. Yeah, it took some time, but it's only gratitude for me, yeah, for that. And I really encourage you all to cultivate this kind of attitude to life. Don't have regrets. Don't hold on to resentments. It's too heavy burden to carry. Because when you hold on to those regrets and burdens, you then manifest your current life from that place. And that's a whole big topic, yeah, of how we are constantly manifesting our life, how we are constantly creating based on how we feel in this moment. And it does not serve us people to hold on to the old stuff, because then we keep repeating the patterns, because we keep feeling that way, you keep feeling resentment, and you're manifesting your life from resentment. Okay. Okay. Sofia, after your super book, Liberation to Orgasm, do you intend to writing another book about seduction, about how to implement feminine magnetism? And what is the essential oil that attracts a man? There's no essential oil that attracts a man. Just forget this. This is nonsense. What attracts a man is your heart. So I started writing another book, but I stopped because it feels like now my energy is needed somewhere else. So I may, or I'm pretty sure I will, but at some point in my life. So and feminine magnetism, it's a Path of Magnetic Heart, my online course, recommended, and Come My Levels. Okay, so. Okay, I think I saw some more. I mean, there are lots and lots of questions, so I don't know if I will attract. Oh my god. Oh my god, I have to say it. I have to address this. Loki the cat. What if you are an older person and then she says, are you a she? Yeah, you're a she. I'm in my early 40s. Darling, you think you're an older person? Stop thinking that. This is just nonsense. This is not serving you. Don't think of yourself as an older person, because then you start to behave as an older person, you start to feel as an older person. Like, no, you're not an older person. In my early 40s, what's happening to this world? No, my love, you are not an older person. Isn't it hard to find real love at my age? I have students in their 60s finding love, true love, and they say my life begins now. Many students, actually. not just like one or two, many. So drop these ideas. I worry that men won't find me interesting because of this. I know women who look stunning and feel stunning in their 40s and so on. And watch me, I will also be that way. I get better every single year, that's what I know for sure, and so do my students, because we know that the beauty is not about the shining glamour of young 20s where it's like your cheeks are all plump and so on. This is not the deep beauty. I remember my 20s when it's considered to be the age of beauty or something. I felt so insecure, so lost, so confused about life. There's no beauty in that. Real beauty is in radiance, is in profound self-knowledge and the knowledge of your heart. This beauty is timeless. I have people, women in my field in their 60s, they are shining, they are radiant, they are embodied, they are gorgeous, and they constantly have men around if they are not in a relationship, or they are in relationships with men that are perfectly matching them. Age is no longer a criteria for anything, so don't get hung up on those societal norms. And then Eleanor says, I judge myself that I want a partner that I find very good looking. What is there to judge? It's one of the values that you have. You want someone who is good looking, and then maybe you're judging because your society or your mother or someone in your field says that it's not a noble desire. But there's no such thing as no noble desires. There are desires and then there are not desires. Yeah, some things that you want and some things you don't want. So focus on the things you want and own them, and you will have them, because the quantum field, the field of infinite potentiality of our universe, the field of God, the universe itself, there are infinite possibilities, there are infinite potentiality, and anything is possible. So better focus on what you actually want, not on, am I allowed to want that? Is it not too much? And so on. Who is judging that anyway? It's all in your mind. Okay, so you are so beautiful people, so welcome. Advice on how to find your true purpose. I know Joyce was like older in your 40s. People, where did you get those ideas? Some advice on finding your true purpose. Well, there are certainly ways, and I have courses on that too. But first and foremost, to stay in the topic that we are with, turn in and listen, because we really know everything, and in life the smartest, best thing is to follow the path of desire. Follow the path of true desire, the desire of your heart, not the desire of your mind that is constantly changing every day, but the desire, like things that you've been always drawn to, things that were always interesting for you, things that were always fascinating for you. Lean into those and never ever consider that it's a waste of time if something you don't see exactly how it fits into the big picture, how it's going to make you income and so on. But follow that fascination in your life, and that will always bring you back home, and it will always align you with your deepest purpose. And actually, next question, which course is best to work on my purpose, clarity, leadership, breaking through fears? So in service to love, specifically on leadership, and also you can wait until January, and we're gonna start the year with some leadership work with some really beautiful offerings I'm preparing for you. Okay, So I'm feeling that we are wrapping up gradually. It's been really rich. I know I didn't talk to anybody. Is there somebody that wants to have a conversation, that you asked me a question that I didn't address and you really feel like it fits in with everything else we've been talking about? So if there is someone that you actually want to come live with me, we can have that towards the end of our time together. And so let's think about this. Something that is specifically related to all the things that I was talking about. So maybe let's have a few people we can write about it. Sexuality, love, and power are the topics we're talking about. And before the end, I want to make sure that you are aware that I have my online and in-person training that are currently on sale for just a few more hours until the end of tonight in Europe. So make sure you check out what I'm offering there. Some things are I reduced the price so much. I'm so happy to make this available. It's all the courses on sexuality and relationships, which always extend far bigger than sexuality and relationships, but it is such an important force for us to cultivate. So make sure you check those out. So Fernanda, please drop the link here again to those things. Time-sensitive opportunities. You can also find the link in my stories, or you can ask me through the DM. And let's see what shall we finish with? Give me some good, strong question to finish with. Mm-hmm. So there's a question on how can we recognize if we may be repeating parental relationships, if one may be repeating parental relationship in their relationship with a partner. Well, everyone does that, so there is no magic trick. Just notice, just remember, how was your relationship with your partner, with your parents? Were they always there, available to you emotionally when you needed them? Or was there a phase when they were away and you felt hurt by that? Or was there a time when you felt neglected, or something happened? Maybe you have a sibling and they gave birth to another child and they took away attention from you. Or maybe they were suffocating you with their attention and they were overly controlling. So remember, how it was in childhood. Get really honest with that, and then see how that is repeated in your relationships. That's how. So practice for every day to keep the momentum going in the context of the masterclass. Breathe. Breathe. Train yourself to come back to your breath and notice when you are reacting to life and you want to remove yourself from the discomfort and you try to fix the discomfort of what's happening, and bring yourself back to your breath, to your body, and settle in the moment, settle in your being. Remember that you are fundamentally well, no matter what. That's your deepest power. And contemplate on the things that I talked about, that touched you. And if you feel like there is an area in which you want to grow, if there is something you want to implement into your life, commit to that. Cultivate your willpower, commit to growing, and see what you can do every single day. Every single day, what can be your commitment. That's how. Okay. I think I'm disconnected from my body because of lost libido and refusing sex to my partner. How can I help myself connect to my body? Activate Woman online course. Really. Yeah. Do the practices. They are so amazing. I keep doing those practices. I keep coming back to them. This is, we have our sexuality includes learnable skills. We never learned how to be sexually alive human beings. We can learn those things, and thank goodness we have access to this work in this day and age. There was a time in our lives not that long ago when all those practices, they were only accessible to members of royal families, to emperors and empresses, and it was not for mere mortals, because I didn't want the mere mortals to be super powerful. Because what happens if everyone is powerful? If we are creating a society based on control, that only few have power, then it's not interesting, for those few, that everyone is powerful. But if we want to create a new kind of society, a paradigm where everyone is powerful, that all of you are as powerful as me who is talking, but we have absolutely the same power, but different, And when we choose to reclaim that, then we have that support of all those amazing practices, and it's a shame not to do them. So I am so happy to offer that to you, and also now there's a special opportunity, a special prize that you have. It's amazing. I find that this is really a no-brainer to get into this work. So, more questions came in, but let's do something like a final thing. Someone suggests to crack a joke, but I don't function like this. You can just make a joke. Sometimes jokes, they have to come, they have to flow through. They have to be in the space. Okay, so I think we're going in all sorts of directions here. Okay, beautiful ones. Okay, that's the one we and I'm happy to respond to any questions about my courses or trainings. And I see one. But let me address, final question that I will address. It's been over a year that I haven't been intimate with anyone. I don't feel the need to search for someone. Should I make an effort to find this type of connection or just enjoy myself? I will say focus on yourself, focus on expanding in yourself, focus on growing in yourself, and that will attract the right connection. Okay, so what are my trainings like? My trainings are very powerful. They are amazing. That's what I can tell you about my trainings. I really want to participate in my trainings. That's the thing right now that it's so difficult actually for me to find an environment, a container in which I would feel welcome, and where I would feel like I can feel like I feel like participants feel in my trainings. That's what I would really like to experience. But yeah, my trainings are full of mystery. I call them Sundari Mystery trainings. So I'm talking about the in-person trainings. They are full of mystery because what happens there is that an intelligence of the field takes over, and I offer myself as a conduit, and I offer myself as someone who just delivers what is needed for the space. So every single person who comes, actually you are orchestrating what's happening in the training, and I am leading it for all of us. So they are incredible. They are full of miracles. Just incredible healing happens, incredible mind-blowing transformation that cannot happen in a normal life. So these trainings are really, oh my God, they are. I love them. I love them profoundly, and I'm not gonna have many actually next year. For now, there's only one that is open to general audience, which is the Liberation to Orgasm. It's in April. So, any more questions about what I'm offering today to you? I remind you that there are different time-sensitive things that are available. So there is this liberation to orgasm training, which is offered for $3,333 instead of 3,333 euro, which is quite a significant difference in price. Plus, you also get for free a course that typically costs 444, which is emotional mastery. So that's one thing that you can get until the end of tonight. Then there is Come My Love online course, a training for women, an online training which is for women who yearn to attract true love into their lives, or those who have a relationship but they want to take the relationship to the next level. That's Come My Love. It's 2,222. Now it's 1,111. This is amazing. I think this is exceptional offer, and even I'm giving you some bonuses of live. You will get actually 2 live calls. I promised 1 live call. I'm actually offering you 2 live calls with the whole group. So it's an amazing moment to join. Then we have Path of Magnetic Heart. It's also for women who want to cultivate a deeper relationship with men. Path of Magnetic Heart is really beautiful. It's 4 calls. It used to be a masterclass, and I converted it into a course. Then there is, so for couples, Limitless Love is a really great course, which is also now offered with a huge discount. Typically it's almost $1,000. Now I offer it for $444. So this is really great. In person, Liberation of the Orgasm for couples is also really, really wonderful. It will deepen your intimacy, your understanding of each other. Really profoundly recommended. Then, if you want to go deeper into sacred sexuality as a woman, Activated Woman, for sure, especially if you're starting your journey, if you want to reconnect with the body, if you want to cultivate deeper orgasms, if you want to understand natural fertility, natural contraception, amazing course. For men, Activated Men, if you want to reestablish your connection with your genitals, with your lingam, with your penis, with your balls, with your masculine center, super recommended. Men really transform their lives through this course. Then there's Pleasure is Prayer, a short course with guided self-pleasure practices by me, where you change your understanding of pleasure, of ecstasy, of the capacity of your body, how much pleasure you can hold, how much power you can hold. Pleasure is Prayer online course. I think that's... and one more course is Emotional Mastery. Emotional Mastery is something I wish for every single person on this planet, because by understanding how to master those uncomfortable emotions, you understand how to be powerful, how to hold power even when there is discomfort, even when there is pain. Your power does not go away. So that's what the Emotional Mastery is for. And specifically, there are techniques. I'm not just talking to you. There are techniques that you do and take them into your life, and you purify your fear, anger, grief, and also learn how to just move through those emotions beautifully. Yeah, so that's what we have, and until tonight, everything is on, like, it's a really special opportunity to join tonight. Everything is on discount, on sale. There are also bundles. If you buy a bunch of things all together, there are some special bundles, so go check it out. Everything is on my website. We've left the link above. Let's drop it once again. And with this, we will complete this meeting. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your beautiful questions. Thank you for sharing the vulnerable things. I know for some of you, it's really big stuff that you have been bringing here. So I really honor your courage, honor your trust, honor your desire to be seen, to be held, to be guided. And also I am offering, like, I remember that I am meant to go in my stories and say who is the winner for the half-an-hour private session with me. So I'm gonna do that in just a moment. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the internet. Ciao, ciao.